All right, good evening, everybody. Call to order the Thursday, 25th, 6:30 meeting of the Planning Commission. Glad y'all are here with us tonight. And to start off, if you would, we'll stand for an invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Dear Heavenly Father, ask you to bless this meeting as we do business with the city, and bless everybody with health and well-being that's here tonight. In God's name, thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Be seated. All right. Commission members, have you had a chance to look at the minutes from our last meeting? Or changes that we need to make? Any additions, deletions?
No, sir.
All right.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes of the last meeting.
All right. We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Got a motion and a second. Do everybody in favor say aye?
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. And it goes. Thank you. All right. On the agenda, the first three cases, case A24-012, case R24-3, and case V24-014. Robbie, my understanding is those are going to be tabled for a while.
Yes, we received a letter from the applicant asking to table the project for 60 days to allow them to incorporate some of the discussion that took place at the town hall meeting, as well as some additional information that the staff heard. So,
Okay. All right. Now, we need to vote on table. All right. All right. So do I have a motion to these three cases until possibly June meeting?
So moved.
All right. Got a motion?
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And it passes. All right. Thank you. All right. Next on the agenda is case V24-015. That's ENS Rentals LLC requested a major variance for the property located at 164 Bobby Boss Drive here in Loganville, Walton County, map and parcel number LG 060163. Present zoning here is CH. Ordinance in section in which the relief is sought is zoning ordinance 19-432A. That's the minimum buffer specifications, which requires a 30-foot buffer strip between the CH zoning and the R16 to the adjacent properties. The applicant has requested this to be reduced to 15 feet. We'll discuss the two cases together, and then we'll vote on them separately. The other case for this property is V24-018. Again, ENS Rentals LLC requesting a major variance for the property located at 164 Bobby Boss Drive here in Loganville, Walton County. Map and parcel number here is LG 060163. And here the present zoning is, again, CH, and the ordinance and section from which the relief is sought is the City of Loganville Development Regulations 6.3.3C as it relates to the length of the deceleration lane required for the project to place additional commercial buildings on the site. All right, we have a representative here. If you'd like to get up and speak, give us some insight here. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. My name is Robert Gardner with Gardner Law Firm in Winder, Georgia. I'm here representing ENS Rentals. Appreciate the opportunity to speak with you tonight about this project. It's probably best to give you maybe just a full range of what this project is going to entail. Right now, on Bobby Boss, or on the Bobby Boss property, there are two older commercial buildings. My client bought them a couple years ago. We've done a lot of work with the property and got it filled in completely with tenants. And we think it's a good opportunity to build two other commercial properties on two other commercial buildings on the property that would be for commercial tenants as well. And that's what the property is zoned for. However, we need to make some serious changes to the property in order for it to be done. I don't know how familiar you all are with the property, but right now there are the two commercial buildings, and there's an entrance at Bobby Boss, and I don't know, do you all have a copy of this? All right, so if you look at this, it's got a Bobby Boss address, and this is Bobby Boss up here, and then you have the two commercial buildings that exist straight off of Bobby Balls. And then, if you look at the property, it slopes down, and it's a big grassy slope. And we met with the water department, and that's part of, we're going to have to go through that variance process with them as well, and we just talked about that. But they've had some serious drainage issues with flooding from that slope for a number of years. I know that there was a mention that there's one property owner whose property floods all the time, and there's no real sewer infrastructure in there to keep that. What we're doing, what we've had these engineered drawings is for a detention pond. The problem with it is, and I know that there's a lot of new regulations as far as detention ponds. In order to do a 4-to-1 slope, the size of the detention pond would essentially take up that entire slope. So it's just not feasible for the clients to do that because they wouldn't add anything. And right now, they've got a piece of property that does not require a detention pond. What we're proposing with these two commercial buildings is to do a detention pond that has a wall, which is something that we're having to get the variance through the water department to discuss that. But then we're going to do significant landscaping facing the road, and that this is going to catch and reduce. I think that I've got our engineer here, Mr. Sly. I think that we've estimated as much as 20 to 40% maybe reduction in the water drain off that normally would just drains down into the road at the bottom of the property. So what we're here for today is two things. We want to make an entrance to the property on, and I can't remember the name of the road, it's not on Bobby Boss, but at the bottom of the property. There you go. All right. So to make the entrance there for the decel lane, and that's one of the variances, and I understand that staff has recommended approval of that. And then make a gravel drive that goes up the side of the property. I think there's been a tenant that's been parking vehicles there, and that's all been moved. And this would be a gravel drive to go up and access those two buildings. However, because of the size of the detention pond, and I know the drawings are a little bit hard at this size to see, the access for maintenance for the detention pond will come off of this gravel drive. But because of the size and the layout and the size of the detention pond will need to be, we need to encroach up to within 15 feet of the neighboring property. It is a rental right now. I think it's zoned residential, and that's part of the reason. So as of right now, what we've submitted does not show a hardship, but it's going to when we submit our application for a variance on that detention pond. It's the detention pond and the size that it needs to be in order to catch the amount of water that comes off the property as it is now and as it will be. It's going to require the 15-foot buffer instead of 30. If we did 30, we move the detention pond over. But we think that this is going to be a benefit to the city, and it's going to, for commercial reasons, it's also going to be a benefit to the neighboring property owners, because not only is it going to catch a lot of this water that's already going down there, but it's going to be a lot prettier, because right now, if you drive by there, you see it. I like a pretty grass slope as much as the next person, but it's a pretty grass slope and then two other commercial buildings. What you'll see once we do this is a landscaped area off of the road, sidewalks, decel lane, and it's going to make it a lot prettier, and it's going to catch a lot of that water. So that's the reason for the variances that we're here for tonight, is the decel lane and to reduce the amount, the buffer for that driveway that's going to go up. And it's going to be a gravel driveway. Okay. So.
All right.
And I have our engineer here if you've got questions for him. I welcome questions. Because I know it's a little bit complicated.
All right. All right. Go ahead.
Real quick, I just want to interject. Make sure you talk with us, because we don't allow gravel driveways on commercial property.
Okay.
I was gonna ask
It
that
is,
too.
I'm sorry, it is asphalt, yes, it is. Yeah. It's gravel right now. What it is there's an existing driveway that's gravel right now that goes halfway down the property. I'm just thinking in my head, haven't looked at it. Yeah, it's gonna
That
be,
took care of
yeah.
one question.
Yeah, that'll take care, yeah.
Right. All right, we appreciate that. At this time, yeah, we'll ask for anybody here in the audience that has anything to say in opposition of the proposal. If you would come up to the podium, state your name and your address, please.
Hello, I'm Jane Williams. I am the property owner at 220 Tommy Lee Fuller Drive. So my property sits right adjacent to your property. So my only concern is that before property wants to get improved or more things wants to be built on the property, it looks like whatever. But now that we want to build something else on the property, we want to beautify the property. I want to know, why doesn't the beautification come all the time, like even now? So there's all kind of vehicles that are parked on this lot. So I'm just trying to figure out, well, what type of commercial property is going to be? How many vehicles are going to be set there, like they look like some buses are on this property? So I want to know what is it going to look like with all these different kinds of commercial type property over there? And where is the wall going to be? Like, is the wall going to be where we can see the wall from the street? Or from the street of Tommy Lee Fuller? Or is it going to be on Bobby Boss Drive? So, and I haven't seen the drawings or the sketch to know exactly what it's supposed to look like. So I would like to see that myself if I could. And I think that's all the questions that I have right now. And the retention pond, like, so a lot of retention ponds that I've seen are not attractive. And later on, you know, weeds, bushes, and trees and stuff grow up if you don't keep them maintained. So I would like to know where that's going to be as well, the retention pond. And the property that, I think the electrical company stayed when you all purchased, or whoever purchased the property, some of the electrical company stayed. So they have a lot of vehicles that are out there. And, you know, we just want to make sure that, you know, it stays, you know, nice, clean, and beautiful. And also, the decel, now, is the decel come off Tommy Lee Fuller? Or is it, so at what point will the decel lane be, and then where is it going to go? Like, is it going to be going to Bobby Boss, coming from Tommy Lee Fuller? Or where would the decel lane come?
Right.
Oh, okay, thank you, thank you.
And then the applicant will respond to your questions after.
Oh, after this?
After
Oh, okay,
all.
okay, okay. Okay, well, I think that's all for right now. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Connie Haney, and I'm the one that's on the corner of Bobby Boss and Tommy Lee Fuller. And I'm with her wondering, I've never seen these plans either. And I was wondering what's going on. Because when they bought the property, meaning Thrower, that's who I have always known of as, because here's the drawing, and in blue is my property. Let you pass it down, let you see it. And part of my property goes against an old garage. But right now, I'm looking at it, you come to my property, and wooden stakes maybe a foot away from the garage. But this other picture I have shows my property line against that garage. And I'm with her, where is the retention pond going? How long Are they gonna plant trees, shrubs, or what to beautify it? Because when Thor first bought this property, yes, there was a flood part coming from this garage onto the property. There was a home there, my dad lived there, but we asked them to fix it about it, and at first they didn't want to fix it, but then they did fix it. But I just want to know, how long is this project going to last, a building? Because, yes, it is a rental property. That is my only income right now. And I just don't know of what the exact things is. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else want to speak before we get rebuttal? Okay. Yes, sir.
Sure, and I appreciate his question. I don't know how well, and how well you can see right here. So if you look up here, there we go. Yeah, there we go, right there. I don't know if you can see this. Okay, so at the bottom, that's Tommy Lee Fuller. At the bottom, at the road that goes like this, can you see?
Yeah.
All right, so that's Tommy Lee Fuller. So there's gonna be a deceleration lane on the right-hand side where you can turn into the property. All right, so it'll turn in off of Tommy Lee Fuller. So if you see at the top, see where the green is, see at the top of the green, that's the driveway that'll go up to these two new commercial buildings, which are ones highlighted in blue. So, and I want to probably make y'all aware of one thing. E&S Rentals has recently bought this from Throwers, and we're looking to improve it. So what we're doing is, I know that there are a lot of vehicles that are parked in that gravel drive. That's all going to be gone. The parking is going to move to between, or is going to move in front of these two commercial buildings. See the two blue? That's that area, that open area between that and where you see the green, that's going to be spaced out parking. And then you're going to have the detention pond and the wall that they're talking about. If you're looking down the hill, so let's think from your perspective. You're looking at Tommy Lee Fuller. What you're going to see is you're going to see a berm with plantings, trees, plants. It's going to be pretty. It's going to be maintained. You will not see the detention pond unless you walk to the top of that berm. And then there'll be a wall that goes down. So here's the berm with all the plantings. So when you look for Tommy Lee Fuller, instead of seeing the back of these commercial buildings and a bunch of vehicles, by the way, the utility company, they're gone. They're out. So they.
Throwers moved out last month.
So as of last, yeah.
Well, they left a lot of their vehicles.
Well, that's going to be resolved. Okay? So from Tommy Lee Fuller, so from your property, you're going to see a berm with a lot of plantings. There are going to be bushes, vegetation, trees, and you won't see this detention pond. It'll be back behind all that. It'll also have a nice fence around it. And above that, you'll see the back of the new commercial buildings, and there'll be new commercial buildings. They're going to be, and these type of buildings can go up in a matter of a week or two. I mean, they go up, metal buildings go up pretty quickly once you get all the permits. So it's not going to be a whole lot of construction. Now, ma'am, from your property, which is on the corner, you had mentioned there's a building at the very top of the. Okay, so when my clients took over the property, the roof of that building was collapsing, and they went to repair it, And the block is uneven. It's a cinder block building, the one you're talking about, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so on one side it was here, and on the other side the top was here. So they had to build it up, and they tried to build it as a slope roof, or thought about building it as a slope roof, as it had been, just to repair it. But under new county regulations, they've had to go back, and we're having to fix that. But I did see, I've been out to the property, and I did see the stakes that are real close to your property. And I guess that the prior owners had fixed the flooding issue. It's our understanding, and that's not what's before, as far as a variance, that's a building permit issue. We're gonna fix the roof on that, and look at possibly renting that out as a commercial space. But to do some work and fix that. And that one will be facing Bobby Boss, because I think that's the one that has there's a commercial car bay that faces Bobby Boss. Okay, so I think the main issue in terms of your property is we want to do a driveway that goes from Tommy Lee Fuller up to the top of the property so that people can access that the parking area. It's going to be a lot nicer parking area, so what you'll see is you'll see a driveway and people coming by on that driveway. It's not a huge amount of traffic, but they'll be driving up to go into that parking lot, so you don't have cars parked right outside of your house like they are right now, going up and down that hill and that gravel drive. And we'd be happy to talk to you about any other needs you would like in terms of any plantings along your property to block that out. I mean, we want to make this pretty. My clients are in the business of renting out commercial space, but making it look good, because somebody a business would rather have a nice building to rent and something pretty than just some ugly old building. Now, there are people that don't care, but we're not those people, and we want it to be nice, and we want to be a member of the community, a member of the neighborhood. Get some water off the property, and you, ma'am, you may be able to say, to attest to the amount of water that comes down, and having a detention pond there, is going to help that. It's going to help it significantly, and keep.
That's a big issue.
Right.
Flood. And,
Right.
we've talked with the city years. I'm telling you, when I say years, I mean like more than 10.
Well, this is our engineer he can talk about the flooding issue.
I just wanted to mention two of the issues. One is right now on both sides, it's completely grassed and there's no trees. And the buffers will be heavily planted, so you will have a nice buffer there on both sides. The other thing is it's not just a detention pond. It also has what's called runoff reduction, which it has an infiltration trench so that the water for the first inch of rain infiltrates into the ground. So unless you get a rain that's more than an inch, you won't see the water. Whereas right now, it just goes to the right of way and goes right in front of your property. But most of the storms will go into the infiltration trench. We've done tests of the soil, and it will absorb the water. So you actually will, for that first inch of rain, have actually a better situation. And then the peak rate, which you see during the larger storms, will be reduced. I think we said like 60% for the 2 and 5 year storms, but for the 25 and through 100-year storm, it'd be 20%. So it is a reduction of the peak rate. So.
And that'd be like some of the storms we got last summer. I think that we had, I know in Winder, and y'all probably had them too, we had two about a week apart that were like almost 10-year storms. So that would be a 60% reduction. So if you think about how much water was flowing, you probably remember that from last summer, how bad it got. Yeah. So we think it's a benefit. And just to say, there's some issues that we're going to have to deal with the water department, because the new regulations require a 4-to-1 slope. We're asking for a wall slope, just because if you do 4-to-1, it has to be so big that it would cover all the available property, which there's reason for us to do it at all. I mean, the reason we want to do this is to be able to put these commercial buildings. And we understand, we leave the property as it is, but then everybody else is in the same situation. What we're trying to do is put ourselves in a better situation financially, we admit that, but also, I think it's gonna look a lot better for that area. I mean, imagine coming out of your front door, instead of seeing those two ugly old buildings with big slope water coming down, seeing plants, these are, evergreen plants, be trees, it's gonna be pretty.
Now, did you say the new buildings are gonna go in front of the building that's there now?
Yeah, they're gonna be closer to you, and there's gonna be then there'll be parking, and then there'll be the detention pond. But the way it looks, you just imagine, the way it's gonna look is you're gonna see that berm with all the plantings, and then you're gonna see above the plantings, you're gonna see two new buildings. They'll be newer and prettier than what's in town.
Now, the commercial, y'all don't know what they're gonna be there yet, right? 'Cause you don't know, like, if it's gonna be any kind of, like, pollution or any kind of air quality kind of,
Now, I would imagine there'll be all, like auto repair, construction companies, and storage, and there'll be bays, and Mitch can, he's one of the owners, can probably, the bays will be facing the opposite direction, would they? Or no, they'll be facing the parking area. But yeah, the county regulations. Okay. The county regulates that. There are only certain types of businesses. So we can't come in there and be, make it a recycling center or mulch burning, there ain't gonna be, no, those would all be, dealt with in the business license. There are only certain types of businesses, pretty much the businesses that are there, but the improvement is gonna be, we're not gonna have people putting cars all over the place, grass and making it ugly.
is there gonna be, okay, between my property, you all's property, is there gonna be something like, something between us?
Oh, yeah.
Or no? Oh,
We're
there,
gonna put in a lot of trees, so, and if you mark those in the drawing, if you see the green, shapes that are on either side, and also in front of the retention pond, those are all new trees that we're planting. So we wanna make sure there's not gonna be any other buildings or anything other commercial. The two buildings that we're adding are those two blue, rectangles, but we're gonna, add, a very significant, planting of trees. So I think your front yard will have a border of trees,
okay.
new trees.
So, and I wanna make sure, because, trees grow up, they get big and size. So, I just don't wanna have any issues with trees getting too big 10 years from now. And, they overgrown not only on my property, but, not only your property, but my property. Sure. So,
Well, we had to be very specific, I think, on the type of trees that you plant that don't have extensive root systems that would
Right.
that would mess up the integrity of so, yeah,
sewer
and,
lines and different stuff like that, 'cause, trees.
yeah, I tell you what, I'll give you a card if you have, suggestions about types of trees you'd like to see. If they're the type we do, we want to be part of the neighborhood.
And I wanted to say, I'm from Loganville, I grew up here, I'm a local person. My name's Mitch, I'm one of the property owners. I'd love to give you guys and exchange information with my own personal number, so I can, we can discuss any issues you have, really.
Well, my one question, looking at the ad right there, at the very tip top, is that old garage type deal?
Yeah.
And it's kind of looking like the trees is gonna kind of like be on my property. Are y'all gonna have to buy some of that property away from me, or what?
No, they have to stay out within a certain amount of feet from your property. When y'all put up, is that the same
Yeah.
as putting up a fence, that you have to be within the 12?
So we're not planning to add, trees on your property, on that edge, unless
Yeah.
you would like us to. You can see that the existing trees are marked in black, they look kind of like diamonds, and the new trees are those green, kind of
It's just the driveway would normally have to be at least 30 feet. And I don't know, that gravel drive is probably within, pretty close to your property right now, isn't it?
So that gravel drive goes the other way to Bobby Boss, but
Okay.
there's not a drive going from Fuller where we're adding the pavement. So
So-
those are two different drives, but we're not building anything towards you. But I still would, would really like to get your information and give you mine. And throughout this whole process, if you're concerned you have, please, and I'm local.
And just to be clear, ma'am, and ma'am in the back, just to be clear, the variance that we're seeking, normally to put that driveway in, it has to be 30 feet from your property. Because we're having to put this detention pond in, we want to move it up 15 feet closer to your property. But just the driveway, not a building, it's just the driveway.
Which
Okay.
will be paved, just to be clear, it's gonna look like a modern, parking lot, and not like a gravel pavement.
Because I basically grew up there my
Yeah,
whole life,
Yeah,
and I have concerns about it.
I mean, I really think that really is gonna look a lot better than what's there. I mean, the Thrower Electric building is just not very nice to look at, and this will block it from the street.
And the grass is cut now.
And, we do good work, and we take pride in our buildings. So, we're excited about this project. We really think it's gonna be a lot nicer. Okay. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I'm sure we've gone over our time.
No problem. All right,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
at this time, I'll ask if there's anybody who'd like to say anything in favor of the project. Okay, all right. Seeing as there's none, then
Somebody's moving?
we'll go to the,
Oh, they're leaving.
to the commission here. Any questions from the commissioners to the applicant?
Chairman, before you get started, I would just like the applicant to know that to make sure you visit conditions for the materials for the facings in the CH district, because you will not be able to build a solid metal building. There will have to be some decoration on the front. Okay, just want to make sure. He said metal building, I was like, oh, red flags. Want to make sure.
That was one of my questions.
Yeah, steel girder construction, but with a facade. So, yes.
Okay. Any questions from the commission? Yes, Bill?
You might not be able to answer this like one of the residents asked is, what kind of businesses are you gonna put in these spaces? We obviously don't want, like the neighbors have said, they don't want vehicles, junk vehicles sitting out there. They don't want, is there any way, Robbie, we can make a condition that, after hours, that the vehicles have to be inside or?
I mean, it's certainly up to you. CH does allow for automotive stations and that kind of stuff. There's a pretty wide category as far as CH goes as what businesses are allowed in there. If there are some concerns about, building, about automobiles and stuff like that, you would have to make that a condition because it would not fall under current guidelines.
I would like to say that our ideal tenant.
If I could get you to come up to the podium, thank you, sir.
Yeah, please.
I would like to say our ideal tenant for a space like this would be like a tint shop or a online retailer. Certainly not a paint shop. Not automotive paint or anything approaching a junkyard. This would be more retail oriented. Not retail, but like a shop is what that would be our ideal client.
All right. So there probably not be any need for outdoor storage or anything like that?
No, I mean, not anything like a lay-down yard or parking for junk vehicles, just the parking lot.
Okay.
Right.
All right, go ahead, Tiffany. Oh,
No, you quit.
go ahead, Tiffany.
So, you're proposing, is it 2 4,000 square foot buildings, right?
That's correct,
Okay.
yes.
Are those to be single tenant buildings?
Yes,
Each one will be single?
each one would
tenant?
be single.
And are you just building like a shell and then you'll build it out for them, or?
Yes, well, I think, once we get past this stage, we would advertise it and build to suit if necessary, but that would be, that's what we'd like to do, is have two single-tenant, 4,000 square foot buildings.
Okay. I had a question about, well, first, you don't have any proposed tenants at this time?
No, we don't. No.
None, okay.
We would be happy to, we'll share anything like that as it, happens, but we don't know.
Okay. The current driveway is a gravel drive that's on side of the tattoo shop.
That's correct.
In between the cemetery and the
Yes.
tattoo shop. Do you have any plans to pave that?
Not presently.
No.
No.
Would you be opposed to paving that?
I think we'd have to see the total cost of the project to see if we move forward with it. I think our focus would be to pave and beautify the Tommy Lee Fuller side first, but I think if it was a condition to pave the entire lot, that expense us out of doing the project.
On the tattoo shop building as
correct.
well. It's on that
Yes.
same parcel.
That's right,
And
yes.
to access that piece of the property, you have to go down the gravel to get to parking behind that building. Is that correct?
That's correct, but I believe it's just a short drive from Bobby Boss. You don't come up from Tommy Lee Fuller, if that's your question. I think, does that
Not
answer?
quite.
Okay.
So I frequently drive Tommy Lee Fuller, and if
Okay.
I needed to go to the tattoo, I would drive Tommy Lee Fuller, take to Bobby Boss, and then a right into the lot.
That's right.
Making the left off of 78 on Bobby Boss, where you've got oncoming traffic from 78 headed east, or traffic turning off of 20, it's just terrible.
Mm-hmm.
The line of cars at that light, until we improve 20, is
Okay.
always a concern. It can sometimes back past Bobby
Okay.
trying to turn left onto 20. So my concern is I guess, are you basically moving the main entrance of this property to the Tommy Lee Fuller side?
I understand your question now. No, that was not our plan. But I guess we would have,
I think what you're at, access to the two existing commercial buildings right now is from Bobby Boss going through that gravel. I would anticipate that once we do this project, if it's completed, that you will be able to turn off the Tommy Lee Fuller, go up that driveway and access all those commercial buildings, and there will be a parking area.
okay, I think, yes, okay, I think I understand this now. Yeah, so you can go in that way, yes, but it's not going to be paved with the rest of the new parking lot that we're doing.
So yeah, the main.
That's correct, isn't it, that
Commercial buildings now will be going Tommy Lee Fuller and then turning into that driveway. It would take a lot of the stress off of the gravel parking lot between, the gravel drive between the tattoo parlor and the garage.
So the two existing buildings that are back there, that's all gravel. All of
Yes.
that is to remain as is. There's no improvements being made to those buildings or the lot.
Other than the access.
Yeah, there would be paving almost all the way up to, I guess, the paving that would end between the two sets of commercial buildings.
That's right. So I guess what I was trying to say is I don't know if we can stop people from coming from Bobby, but a lot of the traffic will come away from Tommy Lee Fuller. I don't know if we can.
That's not so much my concern. My concern
Okay.
is that you said that you were beautifying the property, but you're not beautifying what's already there, just what you're trying to add to.
I think that it will block the view of what's there from Tommy Lee Fuller, but as far and the garage next to the tattoo shop is being renovated now, and so it's being beautified in that way. But we're not planning to pave that area now.
So it's got very limited parking in front of that. So
That's right.
it backs up to Miss Haynes' property. So
Okay.
you can pull in, and you can probably put 3 cars in front of it, right?
Right,
So that's
yeah.
about it. Then there's a little, teeny tiny little access road that goes in between, like a driveway.
Right.
In between that you can walk, and then the tattoo building and the actual road.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go, the two existing buildings are on the side of the gravel road. They're not on the side with the parking lot that's in between, or the paved that would be in between the two buildings that you're adding. Correct?
They will be connected, but no, that's correct. That it's not.
So you have the face on one side and then the face of the other set of buildings is on the other side.
That's correct, yes.
And so my question is are you improving anything on the existing buildings in terms of parking? Because it's all gravel. So the new buildings has a really nice parking lot, and that sounds
Yes.
great. But then the two buildings behind it, where the access points are.
I understand your question now. I think that we're beautifying the buildings, but we're not changing the parking
Okay, so basically, everything that is to stay as is. You're only improving what you're changing.
In terms of the back services, those two existing commercial buildings are gravel right now. If we were to pave everything, we got a whole different issue in terms of permeability and the amount of space, the permeable space. Right now, those are gravel, they can absorb water. If we were to pave everything, that's gonna cause a serious flooding issue, because that's a large area to pave with, at the top of it. So our preference would be to keep it gravel, and then most of the traffic that goes to this property, and we're not talking a huge amount, we're not talking commercial traffic, we're talking just people that work in these buildings, there's a limited amount of parking. They will just come up, Tommy Fuller, turn into that driveway, and then into the parking lot of their building. The folks that work on the back two buildings will possibly go up there and then park in their gravel parking lots.
I think my real concern there with the entrance on Tommy Lee Fuller is that it backs up from 20. It's going to back up to your decel lane and probably pass it at peak hours.
That's what I was gonna ask you too.
And so I'm,
Because there has been time when I was living there, it would back up from Highway 20 all the way down Tommy Lee Fuller, down to,
Yeah.
is it Washington Street, next, down there close to?
Walton.
Walton Street.
Yeah.
Well, those folks are those folks right now are having to squeeze between the tattoo parlor and the garage, they're left on Bobby Boss, and they end up on top of the floor anyway. I think with the decel, you're actually taking a little of that traffic that's going to this property, putting them in the decel lane and getting some of those out of the way.
Yeah, going in, it would.
Yeah, coming out, that's a DOT issue, trying to get people out, because it's the same for people, they'll just be coming out here instead of that Bobby Boss.
Gotcha. I have a question for Ms. Hain. Your property is on the corner, correct? How do you feel about having those trucks come in right next to you? Because it's a driveway, right, is what they're proposing on, if you're just standing on Tommy Lee Fuller looking at your house, the driveway would be on the right-hand side of your house. How do you feel having that driveway 15 feet away from your property? And what would make it, if you have any problem, what would make it better?
Well, to me, it would seem like, because, yes, I do have someone renting my property right now, because he is an ex-veteran and everything. I am concerned for him, because of all that traffic coming in and out, he may not be able to sleep and everything. And there's no time, no telling what time the vehicle gonna be coming in, and what time they're gonna be coming out, everything like that. And maybe if they could just do that one building that's close to my property, if they could just maybe shrink it down some, I don't think I would have a problem and everything, but it just, right now, looking at the two new ones that they're wanting to do, they look too big for the property.
What if there was a fence? Because the building would be far away from your property. It'll be more than 30 feet away from your property, according to the proposal. But would a fence help?
If they would want, if they put up a fence and put up maybe some trees to knock down the noise barrier and everything, because you know a lot of vehicles makes a lot of noises and everything. If they want to put up a fence and some trees, I would see no problem with that.
And to clarify too, this is not gonna be trailer traffic. I mean, worst case scenario, somebody in that business may have a box truck.
Yeah.
For deliveries, or you may have UPS or Amazon coming up that driveway.
Yeah.
And that won't be, but yeah, I don't think.
A fence, we would be happy to put a fence for you,
Yeah.
or for the project.
So I think she said a fence and possibly trees.
Definitely
Was the 15
trees.
feet like evergreens?
Yes,
So you would,
Leland cypress or whatever, and we're happy to, work with her, or
Yeah.
we would do any kind of planning that's
it's like
necessary.
6 foot, Ms. Haynes, would that be a 6 foot privacy fence? Would that be okay for you?
Yeah.
6 foot privacy fence with evergreens?
Sure, yeah.
Yes? Got it.
My question is, with the privacy fence, who's going to be the upkeep?
We
Who's
will
gonna
upkeep the
that
fence. Yeah, I'll personally,
Yeah.
we will
she wouldn't be able to do the upkeep on it.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you do, especially if you do a wooden fence, I mean,
Yeah.
they do last a long time, but they don't last forever.
Yeah.
Wooden fence doesn't. And my question also is, can you not get by with a 30-foot buffer? Because right now it's a 50. You want to go all the way down to 15. Is there any way that you can get by with a 30? No, it's 50 it says here.
30 is what's in
No,
there, and they're wanting a reduction of
existing is
half.
50, it says here. Existing buffer is 50 foot.
That may be to the building, what we're asking for, our variance are
I saw 50-foot too.
Okay? Okay, okay. So, but you're wanting to reduce it from 30 to 15 in half.
And mainly that's because of the size of the retention pond is, if we came over 30, that retention pond would have to go over and there's not enough room.
Gotcha, okay.
Regulations in terms of how big the retention pond has to be. And the retention pond is essentially what's creating the hardship that we're asking for the buffer because of the retention.
In reference to what Tiffany was saying about a fence, what about the right-hand side if you were doing the same thing with a fence and the shrubs or trees down the right-hand side of the property where they're asking for that? Is that? Okay, I'm sorry. I was thinking hers was on the driveway, I'm sorry. I see it now, I'm sorry. I was backwards.
Okay. All right?
All right.
Yes.
I have a comment. You want to put 2 new buildings in there?
Yes,
with
ma'am.
a pavement and a detention pond with some beautiful landscaping. And then you have 2 old buildings behind it that have gravel driveway, gravel parking. And from what I understand, there's a lot of excess vehicles there at all times, a lot of times. Are you the one they're calling to come and take care of it?
I mean, it should be fewer now because Thrower is gone. Thrower was the previous owner of all of these buildings that we purchased from them,
Okay.
and they have moved out. And they had a lot of vans and trucks, and I think you should see those gone soon.
I guess
but-
my question is,
Yep.
I would like to see the property all be the same. You know, if you're gonna pave part of it, pave all of it. Not gravel with 2 old buildings on the back part and the side, and then you're gonna put 2 new buildings with pavement and a buffer in front of it, and it's just a hodgepodge. You know, I'd like to see it more cohesive, looking the same. I mean, are the buildings gonna be the same color?
I mean, we're painting them and updating them, but I just don't think that the pavement is possible up
Yeah,
there.
the impermeability would be
It would be-
impossible, yeah, because of the runoff.
Runoff would make the flooding
It would-
worse.
it would cause
It's-
more
It would be
flooding
too
if you
much
paved the
But if
hard
you're putting in a
surface.
retention pond,
But you're not gonna be able to direct that water from that far to the retention pond.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
you're not gonna be able to push that water that far, you
Okay.
know, to land
And
it.
is there a sidewalk gonna be in front of this detention pond?
Yes, that's correct. The sidewalk.
Yes, shows the sidewalk
Okay.
there. My question, Robbie, is the improvement that the city is going to do to the 20 property, or where, I don't know where that is on the,
Well, I mean, the traffic will back up to this property from that intersection. I believe it currently does during peak hours right now.
but once they do the improvement.
When
of the-
Tommy Lee Fuller gets rerouted to a traffic light, it should not be backed up this much.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
It's kind of hard to gauge though, because people have basically stopped trying to turn on Tommy Lee Fuller onto 20. So once they have that ability with a traffic signal, we can't project what kind of,
Yeah, how far is that turn on Tommy Lee Fuller gonna be?
it's
from
right
this
across
pro-
from, I think
Is it like her house, or?
it's, yeah, I believe the original intent was to line it up with Bobby Boss. Excuse me? So the city of Loganville's been working with GDOT to reroute Tommy Lee Fuller so that we can bring in a traffic signal. But for the traffic signal to be viable, it has to be a certain distance from the Highway 78 traffic signal. So we've pushed it down to, it's gonna go almost in between, the current Tommy Lee Fuller and Fesco, in the Fesco Way. Yeah, no, it won't go behind the park. Yeah. Yeah, it's on the, it'll be on the Highway 20 side of the park, where the new road will be.
Oh, so it'll be before these people?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out, is where the landmark of the road was.
Yes, I believe Fesco owns a couple of the houses that are on Tommy Lee Fuller that will be gaining access through, assuming GDOT's final approval. So, yeah, well, and we haven't really pushed anything out into the public for as far as information, because we're waiting for GDOT to give us the green light, and we've been working on it for years. But we had a great meeting with them last week, so we are actually moving forward to the next phase of that development project. So we will actually be sitting down with Fesco to discuss the final placement of the roadway, and then GDOT's more or less kind of given us that, they haven't given us that formal approval of a traffic signal, but they have indicated favorably upon a traffic signal. And that will be done concurrently with their widening of 20.
All right, I think one more question for you. Between the new buildings and the old buildings, what will that area be there? Will that be grassy, paved, or what are we looking at there? Grass. Any other questions from the commission? All right.
Thanks a lot for your time. I know it was
No, thank you.
I appreciate the questions.
All right. All right. At this time, if there's no other discussion, we'll close that out, and we'll start with case V 24-15. The ES Rentals LLC requesting a major variance for the property located at the 164 Bobby Boss address in County Logan, map parcel LG 060163, with the present zoning of CH. The ordinance and section from which the relief is sought is the zoning ordinance 119-432A, minimum buffer specifications, which require the 30-foot buffer between the CH zoning and the R16 zoning adjacent properties. And the applicant's requesting to be reduced to 15 feet. Do I have a motion on this? Yeah, that's the first one. The reduction of the buffer.
Yeah, the one we just talked about.
Okay, go ahead.
Chairman, I would make a motion to approve, I was just writing my notes for the actual motion, approve with the conditions of a privacy fence and evergreen trees being planted within the 15-foot buffer between the Hain property and the proposed drive.
All right, we've got a motion.
Make a second.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Got a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. All opposed say no.
No.
We've got 4 yay and 1 nay. With that vote, this will pass for the motion to approve with the conditions of the fence and the plantings. All right. For the second one, case V 24-018, ES Rentals LLC again requesting major variance for the property located at the 164 Bobby Boss Drive address, Loganville, Walton County, map and parcel number LG 060163, presenting the zoning CH ordinance section from which the relief is sought is the City of Loganville Development Regulation 6.3.3C as it relates to the length of the deceleration lane required by the project to place additional commercial on the site. A motion here.
So moved. Because it's the same thing.
This is different. This is a reduction of,
Yeah, that's for the
no,
This is
one
a
is a
reduction of
reduction of
decel.
buffers, one is a reduction of the decel lane.
Oh, We didn't talk about that, did we?
I mean, there's not really much to discuss.
Yeah, there's
They-
not really,
This is
yeah.
a true hardship because of their limitations of the property.
Okay,
Yeah.
Right.
gotcha, okay. Yeah, I made a motion.
All right, got a motion to accept that?
Second.
Got a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, looks like that's a unanimous vote there to approve that one. All right, moving on to our next case. It's going to be V24-016. This will be Southern Yankee requested a major variance for the property located at southwest of Covington Street at Hodges Street here in Loganville, Walton County, map and parcel number LG 110008 and LG 110008A. The present zoning here is R44, and the ordinance and section from which the relief is sought is the zoning ordinance, section 119-208C, minimum lot width for the minor subdivision. And then their second, no, that's the only one.
No, that's just.
That's it. All right. Do we-
Okay. I'm Mark Myers, Myers Team Realty, and this property is owned by Miss Ann Jones, and it actually adjoins the home she lives in. So one thing about it, Miss Jones is pretty particular what she allowed next door to her. And so I was told in the beginning by the city that we could get 6 lots, 6 building lots. All of these lots are over 1 acre, so they're good-sized lots. And we've got the builder here, Mr. Zeb Barbie, and he's got examples of what he's built similar to this. And does everybody have a copy? Yes. Everybody got a copy?
Yes.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Okay. So just to give you an idea, these are basically going to be $500,000 homes with what they're having to pay for the development.
Probably, maybe even a little more, yeah.
Yes. So it's going to definitely, this is going to help us with getting to downtown. We're going to have, this will be walking distance when we get all the stuff we want on Main Street. So the builder is here. If you have any questions.
I'll introduce myself. My name's Zeb. I'm born and raised here in Gwinnett County. Our niche building locations, we build in Forsyth County now. I've currently got projects in the city of Beaufort as well. In the past, this is exactly what we like to do, and we've done in Forsyth County, which is one acre lots. We feel a lot of people want to move out of big subdivisions. They want to find an area with a little bit of acreage on it. It looks better to us. It's a cleaner product. This is a few examples of what we've done in the past. Some of them as recent as Monday, we closed one in downtown city of Beaufort. So we're excited about this. I appreciate y'all looking at it. I feel like it's a good fit for that little area and could bring some families into the downtown Loganville area.
All right. And according to the map that Mr. Myers provided us, there's only going to be 4 lots that will be requesting the
Yeah, and I've
variance.
highlighted, hopefully
Yes, sir.
all of them are highlighted that y'all have, and this is a larger shot, obviously, of the same thing. I highlighted the ones. It's lot 1, 2, 4, and 5 would be going from 150 feet wide to 140 feet wide. And that's just so we can fit 6 lots in there with the maximum amount of space, lot-wise per home. And none of them are under an acre. They're all an acre, acre 1, acre 2 even. So large lots for sure.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you'd like to say?
Any questions y'all might have,
All
I'm
right.
free to answer.
I'm going to start with those that are remaining. Is there anybody that would like to say anything against the development here at Covington Street and Hodges? All right,
Yeah, I'm
if
sorry,
you-
I was gonna aim it either way. Yeah. Sorry. I felt bad, I was trying to aim it where everybody could see. Sorry about that.
This is going to be at the corner of Covington Street there at the top, and then Hodges Street there to the right side, I believe.
So what's that, the bank? Off of 78.
Okay, Hodges Street, you know where the old Kelly's used to be in that old house on 78? And there's an AutoZone, there's a street in between there?
That's Hodges. So if you go down that street to the stop sign, the property's right there on the left. So it'll be 4 houses on that one. When you turn left, there'll be 2 houses.
All right. All right, seeing there's nothing else from the citizenry, anything from the commission?
I have a couple of questions.
Go ahead.
Where are the driveways going to come out at? I know we've had it before us before, but just refresh my.
So they're all gonna be side entry, number one, being the size of these lots, I tried to always do side entry. These will obviously be side entry garages, which will look
Okay.
even better. But essentially, without getting too descriptive, we don't really have a placement exactly where we're gonna put the house, but we're pretty restricted because of the buffer, right? So the driveway's gonna go either on one side or the other. Usually it's the high side of the street. That's a pretty flat road.
Yeah.
But the driveways are gonna go obviously on one side or the other of the property, of each lot.
Okay.
Yeah, so they'll be probably within 15 to 20 feet approximately of the property line of each lot, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
And are you going to make sidewalks?
I wasn't planning to, no ma'am.
There aren't any other sidewalks on that street.
Yeah, we know there's not any there. I didn't know you were going to add any
Yeah,
sidewalks.
the good positive thing about it, the houses won't be right up on the street either. I know across the street, they built some new homes in the last 2 years.
Right.
You know, they'll basically have that kind of frontage look. I'm probably gonna raise some of them up a little higher, so they're not exactly flush with the road. They're sitting up maybe a foot off the curb level, which looks nicer to me.
Okay.
But yeah, we weren't planning to, no ma'am.
Okay. And are y'all going to leave up as many of the trees? Because I know that property's got quite a few trees on it. Are y'all going to try to leave up as many as you can, or are you going to just?
Definitely on the back, for sure. We're
Okay.
gonna leave everything. I've had some, I wish I had brought a project we did in Forsyth County where we literally cut where the road went in and that was it, and where the houses were built. It's beautiful. We're not in the business to clear cut the entire piece of property out there. We don't do that. We will be cutting the trees in the frontage along, there's a lot of pines on the one section of maybe lot 4, 5, and 6. We'll have to cut the pines and that kind of thing down because they're gonna be on top of the house location.
Right.
And with anything pretty close to the house, just for safety reasons, especially the pines.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there'll be a
But
buffer there
the
in the
rear
back.
lots, the rear of the lots, yes ma'am, all that will stay very natural.
Okay.
Yeah, untouched,
Yeah.
essentially.
Okay. All right. Those are my
How
questions.
far will your houses be from the road as far as driveway length? There's not gonna be an issue where, you know, only one car will fit in the driveway.
What is this, a 35-foot from the front? I think.
So small.
Yeah.
Look at the big
But
one.
but they didn't put any cover, on the other houses that we've approved either. on
There's
coverages.
gonna be a minimum of 35 for sure. We'll push it, I plan to push these back as far as possible. That being said, the buffer zone being it's like a triangle for each one, we were kind of limited to how far we can go back, but we would like to go back as much as we can on most of them. That makes sense.
Would you be opposed to putting sidewalks?
To be honest, this is.
Just because we want eventually to be, our downtown to be a walkable place.
I understand completely. I get it. I'll be totally honest with you. This deal is extremely tight in the sense that I know that there's been a lot of other things proposed on the land. Really, it's about as tight as we're gonna get as far as getting six lots on that piece.
I have a
To
quick
make any kind of real profit, to be honest, just to be completely clear.
Beat a dead horse.
Yep.
What about just the properties that have frontage on Covington Street? So you're looking at 2.5 properties, like just the Covington Street side?
Hodges
If we
Road,
put
yeah.
sidewalks
That's
on
even
just
better,
those, not down Hodges. Hodges is,
Because that's a little side road.
It's a little side road.
Boy, it's just a lot of concrete.
Only 3 feet wide by, how many are feet long?
yeah. Just,
Two-
what,
240
140?
I just, yeah,
5, yeah, it's 5 foot wide.
5 foot wide. I'm sorry, 5 foot wide. Yeah, I'm sorry.
So 5 feet by 280 plus whatever that piece is on that corner lot?
Yes, ma'am.
So round it up to
That way,
300,
we're obviously trying to make downtown a walkable space.
1,500
Yeah.
square feet of concrete?
It's
And all we can do is hope bring somebody connects sidewalk to something else. at
Keeps it
another
going.
point. Yeah,
There would be
exactly.
a significant cost.
You could be the trendsetter, though. Think about it.
There you go, you would be the trendsetter. Hey, I like that idea.
I've always wanted to be. I'll be, it would be, it'd be very difficult, cost-wise. It really would. Again, it's a tight project. Yeah. If that's a deal breaker to approve this, we could look at doing it, you know? But I really want to do this project. I'm excited about it. I really am. I'm not excited about all of them. But, you know, if
I mean,
that's
we
something-
definitely enjoy the improvement, obviously.
Yeah.
And, you know, we don't
and
want
We're
to,
gonna build a really nice home there. We're really.
I mean, but, may cut into a tiny bit of your profit, but.
$240 a yard.
No,
It's
no,
it's
concrete has
it's
gone.
doubled in the last year and a half. Yeah, I'm sitting here doing the math in my head right now. It's expensive. Yeah, I don't know if I really. I don't know if we could do that. I really don't. It really, it's a tight.
Let me throw something out to Robbie here, if you don't mind, Robbie. In the future, with any future development here for the downtown area, would the city be looking at putting in more walkable type areas there, putting sidewalks in there at the Covington Street?
I mean, naturally, we always look at funding options for sidewalks in the downtown area. As far as this specific area, it'd be hard for me to really touch on whether that's, what priority that would be.
Right.
Because obviously CS Floyd is probably a higher priority than this area right now. So, I mean, would we love to have sidewalks on there? Is it in the next 5 to 10 years?
No telling.
There's no telling at this point in time.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right. Anything else from the commission here for the applicant? No? You good? Okay. At this time, do I have a motion on case V24-016 to either deny or approve the request of the road frontage from 150 to 140 on those 4 lots?
I make a motion that we accept the change from 150 to 140 and approve those, the building.
Okay, we got a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a second. Everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, like sign? All right, passes.
Thank you.
very much for your time.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And just for those here,
Warm fuzzy feelings if we had like 2.5
She'd be warm and fuzzy.
yeah.
You had your opportunity.
And just a quick reminder for those that are listening and watching on YouTube and those here, still here, these are just recommendations from the Planning Commission to the City Council. City Council has the ultimate yes or no, so this is just our recommendation to the City Council. All right, moving on, we've got case 24-9. This is a chapter 119 of the Code of the City of Loganville, shall be amended by replacing the current zoning map dated 8/2021 and replace the zoning map dated May 9, 2024 to be known as, and to certify that this is the official zoning map referred to in the 2005 ordinance by the City of Loganville. Have any questions, or Robbie, you got anything on this one?
No, we do this periodically after a certain amount of acreage has been added to the city. We do like to update it from time to time, so.
I make a motion, we accept the change.
All right,
Good
got a
enough.
motion? Got a second? Everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign? And that's unanimous. All right, case number 24-020. This is to amend Chapter 119-211 of the City of Loganville zoning ordinance regarding the RM4 multifamily residential duplex district. Has everybody had a chance to look over that requested change? Any questions, comments?
My only question is, Robbie, it says 5-foot setback between detached buildings. Oh, so I guess a duplex is attached. That's what I was trying to.
So the RM4 zoning currently allows for both attached and detached
Okay, that's what I was trying to figure
townhomes
out.
to
It's like-
exist in there. That's the only classification that we have that currently has that. So the thinking is maybe it might be a little bit easier for the city to use this RM4 zoning to create some infill opportunities in the downtown area, as opposed to going and creating a whole new zoning classification for this area, which would require going through DCA and getting, kind of it's a drawn-out process. So this was kind of a stopgap measure while staff continues to work on some different efforts behind the scenes on updating the zoning regulations.
So a little bit of clarification here on items 2 and 3. It says the 5-foot side building setback area between detached units. The 3 is the 10-foot minimum setback between detached units. That's going to be 5 foot from each side, equaling that 10 foot, correct? Yeah, okay. Just wanted to clarify that.
Okay, that's what I was, yeah, okay.
Any other questions or comments here on this request? All right, do I have a motion?
I move that we go ahead and accept the new ordinance.
All right, got
That's
a motion?
presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Got a second? Everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, no, anybody opposed, like sign? Nope, passes unanimously there. At this time, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'm like, motion
So
to adjourn.
moved.
All right, it seems like we got a move and a second all at the same time. Everybody